tons of questions to answer. I guess we ask a lot every day. Here are your top 10 questions only on Interrogar.
Question number 1. Are jellyfish dangerous or not? Jellyfish are not that dangerous, but they have stinging cells which makes their stings painful. But despite that, they are not that dangerous. They have no brain or heart. Instead, they have a primitive nervous system and they seem to drift along with the oceans. So, if you get stung, what should you do? Urine sounds like a good idea since it is rumored to stop the pain, but it is likely to raise the pain, so the best cure is salt water and maybe some hot water. The deadliest jellyfish is the Australian box jellyfish. It has eyes and they are the most advanced jellyfish species, and it is so poisonous that it can send you to an early grave. Its stings can cause paralysis, that will make you drown in water, or even death. And also it actively hunts for prey. Can I step on a dead jellyfish? That's a bad idea, since jellyfish stingers remain after their death. A jellyfish is dead when they lose the round circle of their head. Question number 2. How does space smell and sound like? There would have been a quicker answer to this, but let's explain the physics. On Earth we know that sound travels through the vibration of air molecules, and in space there is no air. It is even a vacuum, so there is likely to be no sound there. But to the core, space is not absolutely silent. If there was air molecule around the stars and planets, we would hear a very loud sound. But actually around August 2022, the misconception was cleared when a scientist later played a sound from space, which actually sounded horrifying. The sound was gotten from a galaxy cluster. It was amplified and mixed with other data to produce the sound. The smell of space wouldn't be possible to get, because our noses can't work in a vacuum. But it has been reported that the smell of space is like welding fumes and it is a metallic aroma scent. The smell of space wouldn't be possible to get, because our noses can't work in a vacuum, but it has been reported that the smell of space is like welding fumes and it is a metallic aroma scent. Even smells like burning metal, walnuts, gunpowder and even burnt almond cookie. This was discovered on the surface of the space suits of astronauts who go out for spacewalk. Question number 3. Why did North Korea and South Korea separate? They separated because of two powerful rivals, who don't seem happy with each other. The Japanese Empire was dismantled after World War II. So it kind of caused Korea to be taken over by the Soviet Union and the United States. The United States took over South Korea and North Korea were taken over by Soviet Union. So North Koreans attacked South Korea in order to enlarge the communist regime, but the Koreans fought back, which caused the Korean War, that killed 2 to 3 million Koreans. Then it ended in 1953 after signing an armistice, so no peace treaty was signed, so they are technically at war, but the frozen kind. You can still find the traces of the war in the demilitarized zone. Question number 4. What was the deadliest war in history? Though the Second World War started when Hitler invaded Poland, the World War ended with the Germans' surrender, a week after Adolf Hitler committed suicide. But it officially ended when the Japanese surrendered on the 2nd of September 1945. In the World War II, the Germans actually did some crazy stuffs. From 1939 to 1945, it involved 30 countries. It had close to 70 to 85 million deaths, and most of it were military men. It was a lot more than the Holocaust, which was even part of the war's history. This war led to the fall of Nazi Germany, Fascist Italy, and Imperial Japan. It also kick-started the beginning of the nuclear age, with the Manhattan Project being worked on before later being used in Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan. It created the United Nations and also led to dissolutions of League of Nations. It also majorly led to the decolonization of Asia and Africa and kick-started the Cold War between the two superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union respectively. Question number 5. What really happened to the dinosaurs? This has caused a huge headache for scientists, but this is kind of a theory anyway. Scientists believed that an asteroid, the size of a mountain, crashed on Earth, sending particles, vapors and gases into the atmosphere, which altered the climate, and this lasted for years, and they died off, one by one. Some scientists believed it to be caused by volcanoes from ancient lava flows, with evidences like the Deccan traps, which matched exactly the time when everything happened. That is from 60 to 65 million years ago. That is from 60 to 65 million years ago. So to try and correlate both theories, in 2019, some scientists made a new theory that it is possible that the volcanoes and lava was caused by the meteor impact. Question number 6. We are once in a giant continent. How did it split? Earth once had a lot of giant supercontinent. The first known one was Rodinia. The last supercontinent we had was named Pangaea. It was during the late Paleozoic and early Mesozoic eras. It existed for 335 million years ago. It splitted due to tectonic plates shifting. We believe it is on a rotational cycle and will join again. But how did we know? We knew mostly through fossil distribution and match in geological parts of the world, and it kind of shifted after some years. But it really splitted in different ways. And it caused the Permian extinction, which resulted in the death of up to 90% of all Earth's species. Question number 7. What should you do when you get shot? When you get shot, try to stay as calm as possible. Don't try to play superhero. The movies you see are just lies. Realistically, you cannot lift that hand with a bullet in it. So you might want to do things gently for a while. Firstly, when you realize that the violence has stopped, try screaming for help, and if that's not possible, try to apply pressure to stop the bleeding and also to avoid shock due to loss of blood. Don't panic or feel upset. Try to keep yourself warm as you keep dialing the emergency numbers to get help. It is mandatory you do the following as soon as possible. But also you can still try the following. Carefully raise the hand above your heart and stop blood flow to the arm by tying a knot, and also try to stay as stable as possible. Maintain a stable heart rate. Then call medical attention as fast as possible. Failure to do this can lead to amputation or even death caused by infection. Question number 8. What if we all used renewable energy? The world is trying to release itself from the grapples of the use of fossil fuels. The world is trying to get into using renewable source of energy such as solar power, wind power, hydropower and more. There are immense benefits when it comes to the use of renewable energy. Renewable energy produces no greenhouse gas emissions from fossil fuels and totally reduces all forms of air pollution. There are immense benefits when it comes to the use of renewable energy. Renewable energy produces no greenhouse gas emissions from fossil fuels and totally reduces all forms of air pollution. This will help to create room for more diverse type of energy supply and causes a reduction in imported fuels. It will also help to promote a safer and clean environment. This will help to create room for more diverse type of energy supply and causes a reduction in imported fuels. It will also help to promote a safer and clean environment. The issue of global warming will become a thing of the past. It is a great concept to try out, but according to the current projection, we will probably achieve this before 2050. Question number 9. How did the Spanish flu pandemic end? We have no way to point out its origin in the world, but in the United States it was first identified in military personnel in spring 1918. Then over time, 1/3 of the world's population became infected. The number of deaths was estimated to be 50 million worldwide. The Spanish flu pandemic continued its rampage during the cold shores of the First World War. Because of the war, the pandemic spread through borders and left death on its path. Many towns and villages became ghosts due to thousands and millions of deaths. But over time, those who contracted the virus developed an immunity to the new strand of influenza and life was back to normal by the early 1920s. Those who contracted the virus developed an immunity to the new strand of influenza and life was back to normal by the early 1920s. The virus became less virulent as the pandemic carried on in waves. The virus didn't still disappear. The virus continued to mutate and passed through humans, pigs and other mammals. Then it morphed into the seasonal flu and makes up the influenza virus we keep fighting today. Question number 10. How many people really went to the moon? Everything started with Neil Armstrong, and it kind of ended with someone else, and that's for now before the next one picks it up. In total, over 24 American astronauts made the trip from Earth to the moon from 1968 to 1972. The astronauts who walked on the moon are actually 12, and not everything has Neil Armstrong in it. We had about 3 crews in some missions, but not all had the opportunities of walking on the moon, and we had close to 7 attempts and only 1 failed, and that was Apollo 13. So far, luckily no one died, but the rest were successful.
Brand new episodes comes out next year. We wish you a greater 2023 ahead. Enjoy the festive holiday and seasons, for the fun. You can check out our other shows such as Code Flow and Wildlife Explained. That's all for now. Thank you.